All right, example 2. You do need this diagram, so pause the video so you can get that. The given line markings show how the roads in a town are related to one another. So it's kind of like the street grid. Name a pair of parallel lines. So we've got several options. Let's look for some parallel lines. Okay, how about DM and EF? And I know these are parallel because they both have 2 arrows. So for part A, I'm going to write my answers down here. I'm going to say DM. Line DM is parallel. I'm going to use my symbols so I don't have to write it out, to EF, to line EF. Okay, part B, name a pair of perpendicular lines. So I want to look for that right angle being marked. I see that right here. So I'm going to say DM or DA, however I want to name that, and BM or BF. Again, there's multiple right answers. So BF, best friends, perpendicular to DM. This is not the only right answer, but this is the answer I'm going to put. Then part C, is FE, let's look at FE. FE is right here. Is FE parallel to AC? I would say no, they're not marked as parallel. They don't have the little arrows. Okay, so they're not marked. And they don't look parallel, but you don't necessarily want to go by looks in geometry because diagrams are not always to scale. And what we mean by it's not marked, we would want something like this to show that they're parallel. All right, we got some more vocabulary. For this, I'm actually going to be doing pictures, okay? Pictures and words. I'm not going to write out a formal definition for everything. So transversal, just to remind you, the word trans in English means cross. So you transport something, you carry a good across. All right, so transversal is a line that crosses another line. Okay, so let's say I have these black lines. I'm going to make the blue line my transversal that goes across. Okay, all right, then we're going to be talking about if you have parallel lines or 2 lines cut by a transversal, it makes all kinds of special angles. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit. Alternate exterior angles. So make sure you're writing that down. So I'm going to draw my diagram. So alternate is on opposite sides of the transversal, and exterior is outside the parallel lines. So those 2 red dots, those are alternate exterior. These 2 blue dots, those are also alternate exterior. Okay, alternate exterior. All right, alternate interior. Kind of similar. They're on different sides of your transversal, but instead of being outside, they're inside. So these red dots, those are alternate interior angles. These blue dots, those are alternate interior. So alternating means on different sides of the transversal. Okay, consecutive or same side, sometimes they use it differently. Those are on the same side. So consecutive exterior. So I have my 2 lines, I have my transversal. So again, they're exterior, but they're on the same side of the transversal. So those 2 red dots, the 2 blue dots. All right, consecutive interior would be the same thing, but instead of on the exterior, they're on the interior. Okay, and then the last one, corresponding, sorry about all the fuzzy camera work, corresponding angles are angles in the same position. So when I draw my picture, there's basically, if you think about cutting it in half, there's like 1, 2, 3, 4 spots. Okay, there's the top, so the red angle right here is like in the top left. So angle 5 is corresponding to angle 1 because that is also in the top left. Angle 2, top right, is corresponding to 6 because that is in the top right. 7 is corresponding to 3 because they're both in the bottom left. And 4 and 8. So it's like if you cut your picture in half, they're in the same position. Okay, top left, top left, top right, top right. That's what we mean by corresponding. All right, I'm going to zoom out. If you need to pause the video to get these diagrams or pictures at all, feel free to do so. All right, identify all pairs of the given type. So pause the video, draw your diagram. Okay, so identify all pairs of angles. So for part A, okay, we want the corresponding in the same position. So, and it may be helpful for this one. This one's kind of on its side, so I'm going to split it in half here with the yellow line. So angle 1 is kind of in the top left. That is corresponding to angle 5. Okay, angle 2 is in the top right, so that is going to go with angle 6. Angle 2 and angle 6. Okay, angle 3 is in the bottom left, same with 7. Angle 3 and angle 7 are corresponding. And then lastly, angle 4 and angle 8 are in the bottom right. All right, now I'm going to erase all this so we can see a little bit better. Okay, so then we want, for part B, we want alternate interior, alternate interior. So here's your transversal. So they need to be on different sides. And then interior, so it needs to be inside the purple lines. Wow, that was not very great. Let me try that again. All right, so I would say angle 2 and angle 7. And then your other pair would be 4 and 5. All right, for part C, we want alternate exterior, exterior. So it needs to be outside your lines. So outside those green lines, alternate exteriors. I would say 1 and 8. For the other ones, we're going to have 3 and 6. All right, and then lastly, part D asks for consecutive interior. So consecutive interior. So we want them to be inside our green lines and on the same side of the transversal. So that's going to be 2 and 5. Angle 4 and 7. Okay, you'll get some homework problems to practice, and we can always go over it on the Google Meet, or you can email me if you have questions about this. All right, last but not least, we have the summary. So compare and contrast perpendicular and skew lines. Perpendicular and skew lines. Describe the major type of angles formed via transversal. So describe in words what are corresponding angles, what are alternate exterior, alternate interior, and then consecutive interior and consecutive exterior. All right, so for the summary, it should be written out in words, not just pictures. Okay, and then their homework will be up on Big Ideas. Thanks, have a great day.